What's up, YouTube? This your boy, Big Boy Fact Shiny TV, and tonight I'm gonna give you guys my Aew Rampage review on highlights. So you guys are new, hit that like button, it helps YouTube algorithm. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell every time I upload a brand new video or go live. And follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, and TikTok and Twitch down below in the description. And let's get started. Now, Aew Rampage was a good show. It was way better than SmackDown. We're kicking things off with the AEW title eliminator tournament. Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston. This was a good match. Now we head down to the ring for our first match of the evening, as it's time to see the latest action from the semifinals round of the ongoing AEW World Championship eliminator tournament. Bryan Danielson theme hits and the American Dragon makes his way down to the ring for his semi-final showdown against Eddie Kingston to determine the first finalist in the tournament. He settles into the ring and his music fades down. We see glimpse of the updated brackets for this tournament, and then Eddie Kingston theme hits. The Mad King makes his way to the ring in a hurry, looking ready to fight. The bell sounds, and we're off and running with our first of the 3 advertising match here on this week's show. The fans immediately break out the dueling "Let's go Eddie" and "Let's go Bryan Danielson" chant. Chris Jericho, Ricky Starks and Taz. Chris Jericho, Ricky Starks and Taz have some fun on commentary, while Escobar tries to keep the focus on the match, which is receiving a enormous amount of heat from the pumped up Boston fans inside Agnes Arena. Bryan Danielson and Kingston are slow to get things going, as they are hesitate to let loose on each other, showing a great deal of respect for the man's talent and ability. Bryan Danielson finally starts unloading with kicks and chops after backing Eddie Kingston in a corner. Kingston ends up turning Bryan Danielson and blasts him with some heavy-handed Kabashi-like chops, as Jericho points out on commentary. Bryan Danielson catches Kingston coming off the ropes with a big leg lariat. He follows that up with a running boot to Kingston in the corner. Mad King rolls out to the floor to catch his breath. He grabs a steel chair and launches it into the ring as the fans start chanting his name again. Bryan Danielson starts firing up with some kicks again, but Eddie Kingston ends up taking over, and now he dominates the action as we head to a mid-match commercial break. As we settle back from the break, we see Kingston is still in control of the action. He continues to beat Bryan Danielson down for what seems like forever, with even Jericho pointing out a commentary how Bryan Danielson hasn't landed a successful offense strike or move since the first minute or 2 of the match. The action heads to the top rope. However, Bryan Danielson ends up fighting back, and he ends up launching Kingston off the top with a belly-to-belly suplex. Kingston lands a hard on the top of his shoulder and head. Now, after the guy gets back to their feet, Bryan Danielson fires up and starts taking over, bringing the crowd to life again in the process as he kicked the crap out of a quickly fading Eddie Kingston. We watch as Bryan Danielson starts Kingston in the corner as the camera shows a close-up shot of Bryan Danielson's chest, which is completely and totally beat red from chops by Eddie Kingston early in the bout. Bryan Danielson missed his big shot, and Eddie Kingston ends up laying him out. Both guys are down and out as they slowly come back to life. We hear the ring announcer inform us that 15 minutes have gone by in this time limit contest. The 2 trade strikes from their knees all the way back to their feet. Bryan Danielson ends up decking Kingston with a spinning back fist that knocks the Mad King senseless. The entire The entire crowd in Boston jumped to their feet and cheered and applauded in a standing ovation as both guys struggled to get back up. Jericho points out how rare is it to see a standing ovation in the middle of a match. The fans chant AEW, AEW as Eddie Kingston crawls over to Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson slaps a triangle choke on Eddie Kingston and starts elbowing Eddie Kingston in the dome as he squeezes away. Eddie Kingston passes out and the ref calls for the bell. With the win, Bryan Danielson moves to the finals of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. The winner in advancing to the finals of the AEW Title Eliminator Tournament, Bryan Danielson. Good match. Eddie Kingston turns down a handshake from Bryan Danielson. When we return from the break, we see Bryan Danielson still in the ring, celebrating his victory and pointing to his bright red welded up chest. We then see highlights from the Bryan Danielson Eddie Kingston match. We are shown Bryan Danielson extending his hand for a handshake to Kingston after the match, only for Eddie Kingston to refuse and exit the ring and head to the back. Eddie Kingston gets in CM Punk's face. Tony Schiavone is standing by with CM Punk, the best in the world, talks about how great it is to be in Boston for the first time since he has returned. CM Punk overhears Eddie Kingston yelling off camera about how he didn't tap out, questioning why the bell was called for. Kingston walks into the cameraman frame and tells CM Punk he knows him, and he asks what's so funny. He says he'll fight him right now. Security breaks them up, and Kingston yells again that he knows CM Punk as he walks off. CM Punk asks Tony Schiavone if they're out of town. Tony Schiavone says they are. So we get Matt Seidel versus Dante Martin. This was good. This was good. We now head back inside Annex Arena where Matt Seidel theme hits and makes his way down to the ring for his trilogy about against fellow high flyer Dante Martin. The commentators talk about the great two matches these guys have already had against each other. Seidel settles into the square circle and his music dies down. We hear the theme of Dante Martin and out comes the coming by Leo Rush. Leo Rush settles in his spot at ringside and Martin settles in the ring. His theme cuts off and now we're about to get this one underway. The bell sounds and we are off and running with the third match in the series between these two. Matt Seidel and Dante Martin go face to face and end up shaking hands in a sign of respect before locking up and getting after it. Straight out of the gate, we see some super creative offense exchange and wild high spots from both guys that pop the crowd over and over again. Dante Martin sends Seidel crashing out of the floor as Leo Rush cheers him on. Dante Martin springboards onto the middle turnbuckle and hit a moonsault onto Seidel on the floor. Starks jokes on commentary about how he can't do that move too, as he done it in his full a few times. We head to a mid-match commercial break on that note. As we settle back from the break, we see the action starts to pick back up as these two pick up the pace and intensely and begin hitting high spots like crazy again. Dante Martin nearly finished off Matt Seidel, however he keeps it alive for now. Moments later, Dante Martin hits a double springboard finisher for the pinfall victory. The winner of the match, Dante Martin. Mark Henry is pre-main event split screen interview. We return from the break and we return from the break and are showing some highlights of what went down with Eddie Kingston and CM Punk after Eddie Kingston passed out and lost the AEW title eliminator tournament match against Bryan Danielson in tonight's opener. From there, we shoot to our weekly pre-main event interview hosted by the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. He asks Abaddon for her thoughts on tonight's Trick or Treat No Disqualification match. Abaddon just gurps. Mark Henry then asks Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, for her thoughts, and she talks about having zombies with her as well, pointing to Jamie Hayter and Rebel behind her with zombie face paint on. Mark Henry knows Abaddon has disappeared. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, questions, where is she? That's how the pre-main event interview segment wraps up. So we get trick or treat no disqualification match, Abaddon versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. This was a you know what I'm saying? This was fine for what it was, but I'm just gonna say decent main event, solid main event. We head back inside Agnes Arena now where the Rampage commentary team runs down some announced matches for upcoming shows, including bouts for next week's AEW Dynamite and Rampage. We then head back down to the ring for the introduction of our main event of the evening. The Dapper Yapper Justin Roberts then begins the pre-match introduction for our main event. Nothing that this is a trick or treat match with no disqualification, and that if Abaddon wins, she earns a victory shot at the AEW Women's Championship. Dr. Baker DMD theme, Britt Baker theme then hits, and the AEW Women's Champion makes her way and head down to the ring with her zombie face painted pals Jamie Hayter and Rebel. She settles into the ring and waits on the entrance of her opponent for tonight's main event. Abaddon theme hits, and she makes her way out to the ring in trademark's creepy fashion. She settles in the square circle, and now it's time to get this one underway. The bell sound, and we're off and running with our headline about of this week's Rampage on TNT. Early on, Abaddon creepily stalks Baker around the ring. However, Baker ends up on the floor where she directs traffic, telling Jamie Hayter and Reba to go under the ring and grab her some tricks for this or treat. No disqualification match. They pull out a table and a sealed chair as we head to a mid-match commercial break. Alright, that was a 7-minute commercial break. But anyway, as we settle back in from the break, we see Abaddon slam a chair onto an already laid out Baker in the middle of the ring. She hits the ropes and bounces off the chair, laying on Baker's with a backsplash senton. She then grabs the chair and wedges it between the top and middle ropes in the corner. Baker ends up rolling Abaddon into a chair moments later for a close near fall. Afterwards, Jamie Hayter and Reba drag Abaddon under the bottom rope and lay her across the table set up at ringside. Baker climbed to the top rope, but Abaddon fights her way free. Jericho and Ricky Starks get into an argument on commentary as they talk about the blatant interference by Jamie Hayter and Reba and how this no disqualification match, so it's allowed. Meanwhile, Britt Baker and Abaddon duke it out on the ring apron outside of the ring ropes. We see Baker go for a swinging neckbreaker to put Abaddon through the table. Instead, they bounce off of it and they crash down on the mat at ringside. The commentators point out how they hurt worse than when the table does break. Baker, bent on putting Abaddon through the table, still tries suplexing her through on it. On the floor, however, they just bounce off the seemingly unbreakable table again. So the table did not break. It says Abaddon fires up and beats Baker down some more for reaching under the ring and grabbing a block of sack. She brings the sack into the ring as the commentators speculate what could it be. She opens it and it was dumped a ton of thumbtacks onto the mat. The commentators react to Baker's facial expression when seeing this, speculating that she is having flashbacks to her unsanctioned match with Thunder Rosa, where thumbtacks were heavily involved. We see Abaddon tease a DDT to Baker on the pile of thumbtacks, scattered on the ring mat. Baker fights free and hits the ropes, but Abaddon ends up hitting a rock bottom style move, planting Baker back first onto all of the thumbtacks. She goes for the cover, but Baker kicks out too. Baker recovers and throws the chair in Abaddon's face, Sabu style. She then puts Abaddon's head through the steel chair, folding chair and running and hitting a big stomp on it. She puts the glove on and then sees Abaddon fire up and shock the chair off like nothing happened. Baker grabs a handful of thumbtacks and smears them in Abaddon's mouth. She blasts Abaddon with a super kick and then slaps her in the lockjaw with the glove on and a ton of thumbtacks. Still in Abaddon's mouth. Abaddon bites at the fingers of Baker while the fans chant, "Holy, you know what." Abaddon bites her way free and stands up, but Rebel and Jamie Hayter hit the ring apron. Hayter attacks Abaddon from behind. Abaddon tries biting Rebel, but Baker rolls her up into the tacks and pins her for the victory. Excellent main event from these two. Britt Baker DMD is awesome, folks. Baker looks at her bloody hand as she grabs her title and head up the ramp to the back alongside Jamie Hayter and Rebel as the commentators wrap up this week's show. On that note, that's how this week's show ends. Thanks for joining us. The winner of the match, Dr. Britt Baker DMD. Alright, like I stated earlier, AEW Rampage was a good show. It was way better than SmackDown. But anyway, if you guys enjoy my AEW Rampage review on house, please drop a like on this video. And also, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell every time I premiere a brand new video or I go live. Comment down below what you guys think about AEW Rampage. I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, and TikTok, and Twitch down below in the description. You guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys tomorrow night on Twitch. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on Twitch for MK11, and then I'll go live on YouTube tomorrow early morning. And I'll see you guys later. This your boy B-Boy Faction TV. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great night. Stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. And always stay positive. And I'm out of here.